Education from the ER, intravenous catheters. The size of the IV can be confusing for people because as the number gets bigger, you think the needle gets bigger. Not true, it's actually the opposite. So as the number gets bigger, the needle gets smaller. And there's different types of IVs. So for this one, these are more of the straight ones. And you have yellow, which is a 24 gauge. This is like a pediatric needle. This is really small. If you're putting this in an adult, it is like a temporary use and you need to be figuring out how to get a bigger gauge in there. Then you go up to the blue, which is a 22 gauge. You have pink, which is 20, and then you have green, which is 18. And then the two that aren't shown here is you have a gray one, which is 16 gauge, and you have a 14 gauge, which is orange, and those are massive. I prefer using, when I'm working adult side ER, it's always either a 20 or an 18. Last resort is usually a 22. I don't think I've ever put a 24 in someone because it's just too small. I've used this type of needle before. I'm not a huge fan of it just because I guess I'm a little lazy, and when you retract the needle out of this one, you have to have a pressure applied above the IV insertion site to occlude that vein so blood doesn't come out, so you can get your stuff set up and hooked in before you can take pressure off. So this is the type of IV that I like to use. It's called the Diffusix, and you can see they all have those same colors that we talked about on that other type, and the gauges are all the same because it's all color coordinated. It doesn't matter what type you use, the colors will always match to that gauge. I prefer this one because once you get your IV in, you just put your finger on that little tab right there, slide it in, and this part is that needle retractor, and it pulls the needle out with it, and then as soon as it comes out, it automatically has a safety mechanism in it, and then your blood will just fill in this tubing right here all the way to this Y port, and it automatically just stops. There's a little plastic piece right here, it's kind of hard to see, but that'll fill with blood, and then all you have to do is push the clamp to lock it, and then you can set everything up and you don't have to worry about blood coming out, and there's no occluding at all. And another thing I like is if you don't have good access, you can use a 22 on these, and they're like power injectables, so you can use these for CT scan as well.